All right, well, so if you clicked on the video, you kind of know what this topic's going to be about. It's, it's a storm day today, and I thought I'd get a quick walk in before we get the snow and rain that we were promised. We're supposed to get 15 to 25 centimeters of snow, and then 5 to 15 millimeters of rain on top of that. So it's gonna be fun. But I've got the DJI Mic Mini, the wind muff on because it is super windy. So hopefully this is coming out okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me. And I just want to talk about today on my walk, kind of my ADHD journey and kind of what I've been doing lately, and just how much my life has changed, honestly, in the last few years. It's crazy how just something kind of getting dealt with can totally change your life and your perspective. So a little bit of background on me. I always knew I had ADHD. Even in school, I wasn't that typical kid who, let's get some length on you guys. There we go. I wasn't that stereotypical kid who was running around jumping off the walls and, the stereotypical ADHD kind of, symptoms that we used to look back for in, the late 90s, early 2000s. But my thing was talking. I was always getting in trouble for talking. I was the kid who, I think a teacher said it best, she saw more of the back of my head than my actual face. So my thing was talking, and being the class clown was kind of my MO. And that's just, I'm a goofy guy in general. I like to tell jokes, but obviously when you have ADHD, getting that rise and that dopamine from people, and as a kid, you're a kid, you don't know, you're just a goof. So that was always my thing, and it was one of those things where no one really questioned it, or no one really even thought much about it, because it was just that, just Josh talks too much, whatever, he's just got to learn to shut up. And I would try, and I would honestly really try. But when you have ADHD, it's something kind of goes in your brain. You got to do it. And so anyways, as a kid, I was really the chatty one, the class clown. And eventually I would, get either put to the front of the class, right in front of the teacher, or I would face the wall, or I would get one of those desks with like the walls around it. And based on everything we know now about ADHD, that's not how to treat that situation. But again, we've come such a long way in that. Back in the day, I guess we could say, there wasn't much information about it as there is now. And through school, I did okay. I definitely had classes I really enjoyed and I did really well in. And then I had classes that I didn't enjoy and I didn't do so well in. And looking back, it's definitely an ADHD symptom of, if it's something I really don't want to do, I'm not going to do it. And it was always on my report card, like, oh, Josh doesn't reach his potential. Is always kind of like a thing. It was always Josh never lives up to his full potential. And I can remember a few times getting a class and basically almost failing, and the teacher being like, listen, if you don't pull it up your socks and kind of get the next few weeks in, then you're gonna probably fail. And I remember acing those few tests and assignments, and the teacher kind of being like, where was this whole semester? If you did this, you would have had 100. And again, it's ADHD, procrastination, down to the wire. But as I grew up, I was always the goofy guy, and I went to college. I have a college degree in social work. I didn't end up using, but my second year of college was really hard. I was in a placement I did 2 placements. I did one at a youth shelter, which I really enjoyed. And then I did another one kind of at a philanthropy sort of office. And it was a cubicle, it was a desk, it was 9 to 5. And they didn't really have much for me to do. And I was bored. I needed that stimulation from what I got when I did the one-on-one with the youth groups and the kind of the youth shelter. I really enjoyed that. That was awesome. But the days I had to go to the office, let's call it, I hated it. I despised it. I did not want to go. And I eventually, again, almost didn't graduate because I missed so much time, because I was like, listen, this isn't for me. And it was one of those things where I didn't know why I was like this. I thought maybe I was just lazy. I thought maybe, again, you look at yourself and you wonder, why can't you just be like all these other people? But I ended up graduating, and life went on, and a lot of things kind of happened in my life that, I was a little bit reckless when I was younger. I ended up, having kids way too young, probably. I don't regret it. This isn't like I regret these things, but it's more so like, if maybe I had known why I was this way, then I would kind of maybe pivot, or maybe things would be different. But it wasn't until after I got divorced and I started talking to my therapist, and she Connie talked to me, and she's like, have you ever thought you might have ADHD? And I was like, honestly, probably. The way I just kind of jump around, and I jump to, one sec, and I jump to, different topics, and again, just being goofy and crazy and stuff. And she mentioned it, and I was like, you know what, probably. But it's kind of as far as it went. It kind of on the back of my head, but we didn't go really through with the assessment or anything. And I ended up getting into another relationship, and this was right after my divorce and everything, and I really cared about this person. And 4 years later, it didn't end up working out. I was also probably battling a bit of depression at this time as well. Something I'm looking back, I'm thinking maybe it wasn't depression. It was probably a mix of, untreated ADHD and untreated a bit of depression. Before we broke up, about a year before, it was very, very sort of, I don't want to say toxic, but we fed off each other quite a bit. And it was very much, if I was kind of down or in a mood, that would kind of leak into my partner at the time. And there was days, this was also during COVID, and that was just trying to navigate that. But it was also just I remember sleeping a lot. I remember Uber Eats a lot of McDonald's. I remember getting home early. I worked a lot of early shifts, so I get home at 10:30, 11 in the morning, and popping my ass on the couch, and that was it. That was where I was the whole day. I would close all the blinds. I would sit in the dark and stuff like that. So eventually, obviously, that relationship couldn't last in that environment, and we broke up. She wanted, other things, and I just couldn't get there. I couldn't do it. So that was a big moment for me. It really kind of said, okay, what the hell's going on with me? Like, this is, this was the person I thought I'd potentially spend the rest of my life with, and it didn't work out. So I kind of was like, okay, well, I gotta fix something. This isn't how it's gonna go. So I went to the doctor, kind of said, hey, I'm having a hard time. I'm just sleeping, crying all the time. I remember at one point in a month, I lost about probably 30 or 40 pounds in a month. And, the doctor said, well, you just got broken up with. So obviously it's, broken heart. And I finally was able to get some antidepressants, and it did help. It did. But as time went on, I was always tired and like exhausted, to the point of I would make it through my workday and get home, and like I'd be able to do certain things and stuff like that, but it was so exhausting. And I was having a hard time just doing basic functions. I was having a hard time going to the grocery store. I was having a hard time, I would still show up for work and everything, but it felt like my mental bandwidth was reached, and that's it. So I called my therapist again and got back with her after the breakup. And, the ADHD thing came up again, and kind of louder this time. And I was like, yeah, let's do the assessment. And lo and behold, I had ADHD. And what ended up happening was she's like, okay, well, I can write a letter and we can get you on some medication. And I said, sure. And I don't know, I guess in typical ADHD fashion, I kind of just didn't follow up, or didn't bother cluing into it or trying to make it happen. So probably about a year, this was a year ago, and just last month, I finally called my doctor and was like, listen, we gotta do something. This is not working. It's affecting my current relationship. It's affecting me. And if you don't have ADHD, it's hard to explain, but it was like my brain was constantly just going 100 miles a minute. And it was always, okay, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this. But the thing is, I could think of a million things to do, but it was getting up and doing it. I couldn't. It's like telling your legs and telling your body to move, and it just going, now we're good. And I kind of thought everyone dealt with that lack of motivation. And then I realized now it's an ADHD, it's just me. So I went on medication, like I said, about a month ago. Game changing. Absolutely game changing. I actually had a kind of a moment a couple of days into the medication where I just kind of broke down and just cried in the car, because I was like, has life really been this hard when it didn't have to be for so long? It is just, and I know everyone's different, and I know some people might be against medication, but my idea was, if there's something that can make me the best version of myself, then why would I not? Make me a better boyfriend, a better dad, a better friend, a coworker, all that sort of stuff. And it's finally like everything's clicking. And I've always kind of joked to people, and I said, listen, when I figure this all out, you're in trouble. You're all in trouble, because then I'll be just unstoppable. And I think I'm finally hitting that point. I'm finally getting to that place of, I'm not unstoppable, I'm human, like, let's be real, but it's little things like this walk. Before I would have thought about it and wanted to do it, but just never done it. It's posting these videos. I've been struggling for years, and you can go back on the channel and see, I've been struggling for years to get that commitment and to kind of get that consistency. So it's just those little things, but I'm almost home, and just want to make a quick video that it's crazy how much things can change. And if you have ADHD and you're kind of debating or considering what to do next, or not sure on what to do, then this is kind of like, you're not in it alone, and it is game changing. It is just the silence in my head these days. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I can finally rest, and there's a lot of tasks to do, but at the same time, it's easy, because I think of something and I go, okay, we're gonna do it, and you just knock it out. And it's just nuts that it kind of took this long to to get here. So that's kind of a quick Reader's Digest snippet of my ADHD story, and hopefully the audio turns out okay. Like I said, it is super windy and everything like that, but yeah, I think you can tell on the smile on my face, I'm just really happy, and I'm glad that finally the pieces are coming together, and now I can have the energy and the focus to work on my goals and to work on the things I really want. So yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.